right, everybody, we're going to get started over here. We are joined again by Alex Russman. He's the head of developer partnerships at Enjin. Thank you so much for joining the panel earlier on DeFi and gaming. We appreciate you taking the time and coming back again. It looks like this time you're going to be giving us an intro into Enjin's scaling solution for Ethereum. And I will let you take it from here. And if you want to share your screen, we'll make sure you can see that and we'll get you going.
Awesome. Let's just check this works. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex from Enjin. Well, I've already introduced Enjin on the previous panel, but if you're just tuning in now, Enjin provides a suite of products and a platform for anyone to very easily integrate blockchain into their projects, interacting with the Ethereum ecosystem, creating, handling, and managing assets on that blockchain. You about the next product that Enjin will be releasing, Efinity. And this is our scaling solution. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion of scaling solutions recently, a lot of exciting activity on Ethereum, and that has led to a lot of congestion and high prices. And that's obviously impacting existing projects negatively, but it's a huge blocker for adoption and the activity we want to see and the number of users we want to see reaching the blockchain. So I will jump right in and let's look at the agenda today. So give you a brief introduction to Enjin and look at our product ecosystem as well, because Efinity is going to be rolled out across all of our products, impacting a huge number of user journeys and providing an incredibly enhanced user experience. So then obviously we'll look at what Efinity is, who Efinity is for and who will be using it, and also what to look forward to as we roll out Efinity. So starting off with the basics, we're Enjin. We've actually been around since 2009 when we were founded by our CEO, Maxim, and our CTO, Vitek. And our first product was actually the Enjin network, which grew to over 20 million users as of 2019 last year. We're very much a distributed team. I'm actually based in Berlin, so it's evening my time, but we have team members in all the way from Australia to the west coast of the US. That is to say that, yes, Europe gets the short straw and it's early hours for me and my European colleagues when we get everyone together. So you might have come across Enjin already, not necessarily from the products or from our ecosystem or from our projects, but from the ERC 1155 standard. So since 2017, internally, we were developing something called the monolithic token contract. And we realized that the existing ERC 20 and ERC 721 standards just weren't flexible enough for the kind of game items we envisaged. And while ERC 20 and 71 tokens required a new smart contract to deploy each new class of token, the concept behind ERC 1155 is that a single smart contract can govern an infinite number of token types. And the reason I mention that is because Enjin has a long history, an established history of already delivering improvements to the Ethereum ecosystem and infrastructure and answering the existing inefficiencies and limitations. And we've seen a lot of adoption of the ERC 1155 standard. We developed it in collaboration with Horizon Games, of course. Assets are appearing on OpenSea, Skyweaver, and the Sandbox. And you might have also seen the ERC 1155 standard referenced in Nike's patent for the CryptoKicks product, and even as far afield as the eThaler digital bond project. So ERC 1155 allows the creation of multiple token types, fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens, delivers a lot of gas savings. Horizon Games have calculated that they can get as high as 80 or 90% less gas being spent than compared to using ERC 20 and ERC 721 tokens. You can send batches of tokens together, as well as doing trades of multiple tokens on top of the ERC 1155 standard, because it removes the need to approve individual token contracts separately. And all sorts of other cool, exciting features. You can build a rule set, for example, that applies to all the millions of assets and tokens that might be managed in a single contract. And that's one of the foundations of the product ecosystem we've therefore built on top of Ethereum. And that product ecosystem is beautifully encapsulated in this lovely diagram. We have the wallet, we have the developer platform, we have the marketplace. You can see a sword being exchanged for a sack of gold, and we have an Enjin Beam product we've created to improve the distribution of blockchain assets. So QR code you scan and you immediately receive blockchain items. And the whole ecosystem is backed by our ERC20 Ethereum currency, Enjin Coin. And when items are minted onto Ethereum using the Enjin platform, an amount of Enjin coin is locked into them, providing them a reserve value and a minimum value you can then melt out of them. So for those who are unfamiliar with our products, we first of all have the platform. This is the developer platform. We have SDKs for the Unity game engine, for Java, for the Godot game engine, and we also recently released a Minecraft SDK. And over 1 billion blockchain assets have been minted through the Enjin platform, backed by more than $2 million worth of Enjin coin and held by over 120,000 users. We have a wallet, which has over 1 million downloads across iOS and Android, and that's powered by our own Enjin X Explorer, which has built into it a marketplace, which has now enabled the trade of over 550,000 blockchain assets with more than $6 million, more than 6 million Enjin coins of trading volume. And then in terms of the Beam assets, we've run more than 1,000 campaigns, distributing more than 181,000 assets to 570,000 users. So Alex, where's Efinity in all this? Well, that's to say, this is a lot of activity and it has a high cost. I'm sure I'm not the only one who checks ETH gas station in the early hours and in the late hours. And projects building on Enjin, the Enjin team, constantly finding the best time to mint assets. On the panel earlier, we were discussing how gaming is really impacted by high congestion fees, and it really squeezes these projects. So for a long time, even before with the last few months of exciting activity on Ethereum, we've had projects calling for a scaling solution. And these are a mixture of projects who are working with our tools on their own, or also working directly with us. And we've built out an amazing cohort of blockchain pioneers who fall under our Powered by Enjin partners. And these are pioneering games, apps, and projects. I very, very much recommend you jump onto the Enjin.io website, check out the Powered by Enjin page, jump into these games. You can see here Lost Relics, 9 Lives Arena. 9 Lives Arena is sadly still in closed alpha, but Lost Relics is absolutely fantastic game. Cliff defined it, one-man army, awesome guy. But we've also been pulled down the enterprise direction because a huge range of projects want to now enjoy and work with NFTs. We've distributed more than 50,000 NFT assets for Binance, for example. And this activity just continues to grow, and we need a scaling solution for it, especially for bigger companies like Microsoft, who are now really appreciative of the blockchain technology and see the massive value add it has. You might have recently noticed that the Azure Heroes project we work with Microsoft on had launched a beautiful showcase showing all across the globe the different Azure developers who are claiming their Azure Hero badges. So for a bit of context there, Azure Heroes is an engagement and rewards program for people who are part of the Microsoft Azure community. And when you perform well, basically demonstrating your contributions as a diversity leader or community leader or a mentor or a summer learner, you receive one of these cute little badges. I think they're cute, as a NFT asset. It's almost the most basic function of an NFT, a digital collectible that's provably scarce, provably yours, and is a recognition and award of your achievement. But again, this is incoming enterprise interest, and it needs to scale. And at the moment, it's expensive to run. There's congestion, and we need answers to it. So, without more ado, what is Efinity? Well, Efinity is the future of Ethereum scaling. It's as this lovely graphic shows, it's a highway for the ERC20 and ERC1155 assets that we see our projects using. It's the answer to this increasing demand for blockchain products and engagement with blockchain technology in a whole range of small to large scale projects. And it's very important that we deliver this. So, Efinity. Efinity is about bringing ERC20 and ERC1155, all of these tokens, whether created through the Enjin platform or not, and allowing users to conduct near instant transactions off-chain and settling the results on-chain. This means they're fast and affordable, but you're still guaranteed the security and privacy and the permanence of on-chain transfers. And this is an extremely horizontally scalable solution. Every hub that is added to the Efinity network increases its transactions per second. We're currently seeing around 650 transactions per second on a test node, and it's going to be incredibly exciting seeing this solution scale as more hubs join. The other key feature is seamless user onboarding. So users' Ethereum and Efinity addresses are one and the same. This means that users can receive tokens on Efinity without any extra action on their part. We're talking about giving people blockchain assets without them needing to handle cryptocurrency, and a huge, huge move for adoption. So developers, these are obviously the people working with the Enjin platform. These are people using our solutions already. What can you expect? Well, first of all, as a developer, you will be able to deposit your ERC 1155 tokens, and of course your Enj, onto Efinity by funding a channel using your wallet. This stores the tokens in an asset holder smart contract. And there's going to be a seamless transition to Efinity. We've got a huge range of projects who are using the Enjin platform to interact with blockchain because we make it easy, because we take away the heavy lifting of working with smart contracts, needing to understand solidity. So Enjin APIs will work just as before, sending transactions to user wallets, and no work will be required by the developers of the existing ERC20 and ERC 1155 assets to enable compatibility. And again, that's all ERC20 and 1155 assets. This is not just assets being created through the Enjin platform. And obviously there's a question about congestion here, because it's free, it's affordable, it's fast. How do we prevent congestion and spamming of the network? Well, we'll have Efinity nodes which monitor the user's transactions per second, and tokens will receive priority based on their Enjin backing. Or if there's no Enjin backing, you can get a boost through a hub by depositing Enjin to that hub. Developers, that's great, but hopefully we have a lot of users in the audience. And what does that mean for you? And actually, more importantly, developers, what does this mean for your users? So really, really significantly, no Ethereum is required. Users can send and receive tokens on Efinity without performing any transactions on Ethereum. This is fantastic for bringing people into a blockchain ecosystem and giving them blockchain products. Obviously, at any time, you can still lock in ownership of your blockchain assets by funding a channel at any point. And this is going to be a very easy sort of one-click process through the wallet that enables you to claim your assets, prove that ownership on Ethereum at any time. So if you have concerns about having high value assets, you can immediately consolidate that ownership onto the Ethereum main chain. And there are also guarantees there. So without locking in specific tokens, users are still guaranteed security by means of collateral. So hubs will have a staking process, and the value of assets being transferred will be guaranteed and secure through that. And finally, or another key significant, definitely not the final part, is fast withdrawals. Users will be able to withdraw assets onto Efinity without long waiting periods. This is, again, really, really important for having a scaling solution that works with the Ethereum main chain. We want users to be able to enjoy Efinity and move on to projects very, very easily, allowing projects to benefit from those fast speeds, but not lose the connection to the broader Ethereum ecosystem. And obviously that means not spending a long time waiting for your assets to move back onto Ethereum. And question of Ethereum, obviously, is there still the security? And that is very, very important to highlight here. You still have all the benefits of Ethereum smart contract security. As I already said, users are able to consolidate and claim their assets onto Ethereum at any time. That's very, very important. But beyond that, if Efinity hubs were to be shut down, if Enjin were to disappear, then users will still be able to reclaim their blockchain assets from the Efinity smart contracts on Ethereum. So if the scaling solution is no longer there, your assets are still there, you can still claim them, they're still secured and exist on the Ethereum blockchain. And furthermore, as more hubs and more servers join Efinity, the solution continues to scale and become more and more decentralized. As more Efinity hubs and servers join, and we'll have light servers, and we'll have the ability for new members to come in and set up their own hubs, the solution scales horizontally, seeing an ever-growing, near infinite number of transactions that can be possible. And also encouraging enterprise projects to come into this space with more confidence that they can process their users' transactions, that they will be able to handle the incoming interest or even migration of existing communities onto an Ethereum-based solution. And these are conversations we have had, I think many people have been having for many years, so incoming interest, which is just deterred by the conversations around the inherent costs of using Ethereum currently, the congestion, the gas fees, and especially for the game partners we work with. It's eating into margins and impacting business models. And then for bigger companies, it is about, okay, this technology is great, but are the costs really worth it? So who is Efinity for? Efinity is really for any project that wants to deliver fast, affordable transfers of blockchain assets to their users. This is obviously the game developers who are already using Enjin solutions to build games and have already designed economies based around the existing structure of Ethereum and costs. But by creating assets more cheaply, having more of them and allowing more transfers, you can have more and more blockchain assets in games. We're already seeing game developers look at like tokenizing all of the smallest details of a game, whereas at the moment it can only be the most valuable assets that make the sense to pay fees and trade and sell for high values. App developers are obviously going to benefit because of this faster, cheaper transfer of all sorts of tokens. And we'll see wallets and exchanges also developing integrations for Efinity so they can perform transfers and trades directly on the network. And finally, that enterprise point. This is really, really key. We need to have something that can deliver that scale, that can deal with, not to introduce bottlenecks into the process or the scaling solution, into the process of introducing people to blockchain. And Efinity has always been on the Enjin roadmap, right from our early days and the white paper. It was always something we wanted to work on, but the enterprise interest has definitely driven and accelerated that, obviously alongside the existing situation on Ethereum. So what is next? What is there to look out for? Well, first of all, we'll be having our official partners and Enjin adopters integrating with the Ethereum testnet. Then we'll have our mainnet launch with transfers and trades that a broad number of projects, any project that wants to get involved can launch and integrate on Efinity. And then following launch, we want to keep on delivering features, new updates. Minting directly onto Efinity is key. For the mainnet launch, you'll still need to mint onto Ethereum. And as I said, for the large projects at the moment who are looking to mint large numbers of assets on Ethereum, those gas costs go up. So we want to say goodbye to waking up and checking ETH gas station or setting alarms or reminders for low gas fees, and allow people to mint directly onto Efinity so they can immediately start those transfers and distribution of game items or blockchain items or tokenized real world assets. It's going to be very exciting what we see there. We want to deliver more metadata solutions as well, enabling projects to support the metadata that they choose in a centralized or as decentralized manner as they want. And then of course, multiple hubs, which will be the key to delivering that extreme horizontal scaling, as well as including more people in the ecosystem, allowing them to support their own communities and take their own role within the Efinity economy. Open source SDK for wallets and hubs, look out for that. Batch funding of channels as well. And finally, asset loans and rentals. This is something which is going to open hugely exciting scenarios. Earlier, we were talking on the DeFi and gaming panel about how gaming and DeFi will increasingly interact. I think that games will lead, DeFi will be gamified, but at the same time, DeFi will be built around games as a result of DeFi's composability and the composability of all Ethereum infrastructure, to be honest. But asset loans and rentals are going to be an area where we really want to see a huge amount of activity. We already have communities within the Enjin community who are loaning and doing rentals of assets between one another because these items are so highly valued. And we want to provide the infrastructure to allow that to happen very often, to allow people to monetize their assets and build the businesses that and the economic activity that these virtual worlds provide. And all in all, that leads us back to the Enjin ecosystem. Efinity is going to link together all of these products. We have the wallet, we have the developer platform, which provides SDKs, as well as the GraphQL querying language, linking different virtual worlds together, the marketplace, and Enjin Beam, distributing assets to anyone who has a phone to scan a QR code. And the key point here is that Efinity is going to deliver a full loop ecosystem, ecosystem that sits on an Ethereum scaling solution. This is incredibly exciting for me and hopefully for everyone, because there are going to be thousands of user journeys which happen through very familiar products, wallets, exchanges, and they're just going to be faster. The aim is to support all ERC20 and ERC1155 tokens. The aim is that users will require no tokens to interact with their blockchain assets, to receive them or to send them. We want to see transactions per second scale horizontally, and the speed is going to be less than a second to receive and transfer these items. And in terms of the transfer cost, we want that to be free for most users. So there'll be usage tiers, but for your average user, we want those to be free. And this is going to be incredible for adoption. In many ways, this is going to lead to experiences and applications that will be that users will interact with as if they were interacting with an app that is based on a centralized database. So all in all, Efinity is the finishing piece to this really, really exciting ecosystem that Enjin has created. And I realize my excitement has made me speed through this presentation, I'm afraid. So part would definitely be jump into our Telegram, keep up to date with everything that's happening, jump into our projects as well. Like I say, the Powered by Enjin projects are really, really awesome. Check out what we're doing with Microsoft to get inspiration for your own projects and how they can be applied to enterprise endeavors and projects. And interact with all the Enjin products and get excited for Efinity. And also reach out to us if you feel that you have a project that you can integrate Efinity with. And I think Smart Contract Summit organizers, I'm very sorry, I've rushed through that.
No problem, no worries at all. Thank you so much. We really, and I know did you get there's some questions in there. I don't know if you want to skim through and see if I think you got most of them.
Maybe if I can, maybe if there's a slide that you guys want to see again, maybe that's a good place. It's been exciting, but a long day, and this is something I have a huge number of conversations with, and blockchain technology has been getting a huge amount of interest, and it's almost on a daily basis now that I'm surprised by the type of industry, the type of project that is interested in the technology. And a lot of these conversations are stalled by talking about the cost, talking about the friction being introduced to users. And I mentioned on the DeFi and gaming panel that that friction is a key barrier, not just to sort of adoption of the technology or sort of interaction with the technology, but more about actually getting people to use this on a mass scale. And we're very fortunate at Enjin in having these enterprise partners like Microsoft, because they have an appreciation for the underlying technology, they have an appreciation for what we've built, but they've really been driving us to do that research and development to reduce and remove as much friction as possible. So for the Beam product, for instance, anyone who remembers that in its early stages, we've seen a lot fewer steps, a lot fewer screens to get to your final blockchain asset. And that's really the drive has come from projects like Microsoft to say, look, we want to get these items in hands of users, these beautiful, these cute little badges. And we don't want to have a big tail off of people going, what are these products? What is a wallet? Why am I waiting? And you're going to see some more really nice UI improvements rolled out across the Enjin platform. And so we're very lucky to have that drive. I'm scrolling through some chats. Ibrahim says Enjin Telegram has 22,000 members. Yep, jump in. It's a big group. We had an AMA with Aave the other day, and the number of questions were too big to see. Chris says badges equals badges. Yeah, it's an absolute pain, Chris. Talking to projects and trying to describe, oh yeah, you can have a rewards and achievement system where users receive badges or achievements, and Microsoft have an existing one where you receive badges of badges. That's always a fun conversation. Does anyone want me to go back to any of the slides? Because I do worry that I've rushed through the slides there. How many Enjin tokens should a standard user be buying now to use them in games and try out the ecosystem? Really go to the Powered by Enjin page, look at the games, and find something that interests you. Jump into the Telegram community maybe as well, because everyone's super lovely. I mean, the projects and people in this space are so supportive. So you'll find a community that will introduce you to the game. and help you understand which assets to interact with and buy. But a lot of the projects have their own stores. So you can buy blockchain game items in fiat currency and be immediately onboarded into that blockchain world. And again, it's a huge point about adoption and being able to draw in more people. On the panel earlier, I think Alexander mentioned that DeFi is a very small crowd, and are we getting more incoming interest? And that's really key for us at Enjin. We need to create games that can be interacted with by everyone. Sounds very low friction. Java SDK, we already have a Java SDK, Howard. So you can build your project, interact with the Ethereum blockchain through the Java SDK, and then when we launch Efinity on mainnet, you'll be able to take benefit of that as well. Do players need to verify their identity to withdraw their funds? So these are smart contracts. It's again private and public key. So if that asset is yours and it's being deposited by you into that smart contract, you can then claim it back. So we're not talking about sort of KYC to withdraw those assets onto blockchain. It is about claiming what you own on Efinity and securing that on Ethereum. Who can run hubs? We will be releasing more information about how you can join and run your own hub, but for the initial, that will come after the mainnet launch. What genre of game makes the most sense to the Enjin ecosystem? This is any genre. I have this conversation a lot. I think I said earlier, I spend 1 hour talking to someone who has no blockchain knowledge, and the other talking to someone who wants to go into the deepest details of leveraging NFTs as collateral. Games who want to create achievements like the Azure Heroes program. You've done something. I'm not a fan of horror games, for example. So if I made it through a horror VR game, I would want a blockchain asset at the end of that to prove that I have no fear. Also, games that have cosmetics. That's my passion is cosmetics, because they're essentially bits of creative IP, and I think they can transfer between virtual economies very easily. Obviously, I have colleagues who love the cross-game questing, and it was great fun putting together the Swissborg Cyborg quest, and so cross-game swords that can be used in multiple worlds. Check out the Enjin Multiverse project, of course, as well, which Enjin has created a series of blockchain assets which can be used in multiple games. So you have the Enjin Epichrome sword, that is a medieval RPG sword in one game and a laser sword in another. But yeah, for me, my personal passion, which I'd like to share a bit more in the future, would be really using the bridge of blockchain to communicate between different virtual worlds and economies and see transfer of creative capital. But equally, ARPGs, I'm big two fans there. Thanks for the questions, everyone. Scrolling through, is there how does moving from untokenized to tokenized asset work? If we were to make RuneScape to have tokenized party hats, well, if you have a party hat in RuneScape, you would have the ability to claim. This is theoretical. You'd have the ability to claim that item from the centralized server that RuneScape runs on as a blockchain asset. So it's very easy for games to dip their toe into the waters of your blockchain assets and just have a few items. Often we see the waters being tested with achievement tokens or cosmetic tokens as a way of feeling out if their community respond well. Thank you, Jerome. I hope it was an interesting talk. I'm sorry I sped through so much. Salmon says, any SDK for Unity? Yes, Unity SDK was one of the first we launched. It's undergoing sort of constant improvements. And if you're building in Unity, yeah, jump in. We have a fantastic SDK for that. Unreal coming down the line, but equally, if you're building with Unreal, you can still communicate with the Enjin API using the GraphQL querying language. And we actually see a lot of our adopters go down the rabbit hole and leave the SDK to build their own solutions using that GraphQL querying language to interact with the Enjin platform. And in terms of watershed moments, Bill, Efinity is really already opening up a huge number of conversations that just would not be possible before. And the technology is fantastic. We're all really passionate about it. But the bottom line is that companies have a bottom line. They need to make sure that these assets make sense. And at one point, the premium on blockchain items created as NFTs was an attraction for projects. But in terms of the gas fees, looking at a product like Engine Beam, which has been fantastic for onboarding users, that becomes just expensive in itself to send out free blockchain items. And I would say jump into the Engine ecosystem, look at the different Engine games, because the way the Engine adopter projects have reacted to the developing state of Ethereum is really fantastic. It's these guys are truly pioneers. Engine provides the tools to interact with blockchain, but the projects that Engine adopters are building, the ways they're thinking and the implementations they're doing are really, really awesome. They're not my babies, they're the babies of the Engine adopters, but they're my nieces and nephews. So I don't have, I can't really pick out favorites, but only because I spoke to Nick from Kingdom Carnage this morning, I would say find Kingdom Carnage. It's on iOS and Android. Download that game, play it, join the Telegram community. Nick doesn't like being called out, but hello, Nick, you're amazing. Is Engine token useful for gamers, or can we just use fiat for everything? We'll see a lot of projects continuing to use fiat to sell game items which are backed by Engine coin. There's a whole number of different models available. And a reminder again that you can use the Engine platform to create your own cryptocurrency. ERC 1155 enables you to create your own fungible tokens, your own in-game currency as a currency backed on Ethereum. And we're going to see in the near future a lot more infrastructure support that kind of currency and interaction with the DeFi world. So keep an eye out for that as well. I feel like there should be more questions. How are we doing on time, Aave?
You are welcome to take as many questions as you'd like. I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing this and for answering all these questions. And you're welcome to stay on. As long as these questions keep coming, you can stay. And you're the last session over on this stream today, so you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like.
Okay, fantastic. Have I used up my time? Not that I want to run away, but
you're right at it. You're welcome to keep going. It looks like there's
okay, fantastic. Well, I hope this is interesting to everyone. It definitely the core content is the and I will go back to the slides. I mean the key parts of Efinity are these three parts. We're talking about bringing all the ERC20 and ERC 1155 tokens that want to be on Ethereum over to a solution that is fast and affordable. Average users not going to have to own any cryptocurrency, not going to have to own any ETH or any sort of tokens in order to receive or send their assets. And I would say, yes, look at the projects that are already building on the Engine platform and working with us. Look at projects across the Ethereum ecosystem and just imagine what that can do. And shout out, spread the word. A lot of incoming interest in Efinity, a lot of exciting conversations, but we don't want to miss those as well. So reach out via our contact form, because we all know that everyone gets spammed on other channels. Contact form's good, and our support team are fantastic. We will be, in terms of the economics of Efinity, we'll be releasing more information about that soon, Chris. I think I briefly touched on the congestion point. Tokens will receive priority based on their Engine backing. So there's still a key role of, Engine has a key role there anyway, but then also we'll see staking of Engine or to boost transactions for a particular user base or for a particular project. And is ETH the gas if you make your own coin? Is ETH the gas if you make your own coin? If you make your own coin on Ethereum, then you're paying and you're moving it around on Ethereum, then ETH is the gas. The Engine platform gives a huge amount of control to developers. So when you create your items, you can choose the supply type. You provide a lot of transparency to your community by sort of showing what supply model you're committing to. But you can also choose to bind tokens to addresses, so you can prevent them being traded. But really interestingly, you can program in a transfer fee into token, to the fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens you create. So every change of ownership requires some Engine coin to be transferred from the person interacting with that asset to normally the creator, But you could also imagine a scenario where you're basically having royalties. You partner with someone and you say, hey, we're going to enable transfer fees. So all of the trading you benefit from as economic activity. Carlos says, Efinity is already being tested in any of the Enjin games. The Enjin adopter games, as well as the other Enjin partners we work with, they will be the first to work with the Ethereum testnet. And then based on their feedback and experience, we'll move to mainnet launch. And that's something that we're in a very privileged position to be working with so many projects. And thank you if you're watching Enjin adopters. Thank you. You've been amazing. You've made sure we innovate in the right directions. You've made sure we develop in the right directions. Thank you for frustrating us. Thank you for the feedback. We've together built something that is really, really awesome, and is going to do really, really incredible things. Go to a slide talking about mainnet. Is that the roadmap? This one here, possibly. That was from Patrick. I feel like my marketing team are going to get annoyed at me for letting this video run on. It's going to be posted somewhere. So I will. Hi, Browner and Ilya. Thank you for helping me put together the presentation as well. Howard, yes, send me a LinkedIn invite. I think although do say why you're sending me a LinkedIn invite, because I do get a lot. Toasters selling black lobbies. I don't know what that is. Watershed moments. Efinity. We're already seeing that watershed moment happen in conversations. And remember, larger projects have a longer timeline in terms of implementing, and also seeing that the technology will work and having the confidence to launch in a public manner. So yeah, guys, if I see the numbers falling, Brandon says, "Oh, hello, Brad." Or Trillet. And yeah, I think I'm afraid timeline. Talk to marketing. Sorry, Brandon, it's your weekend. Abby, I think I'll round it up. I think those are the questions. Hopefully, I've sated everyone's interest. And yes, this will be available online. You can play it at 0.75 speed to experience how it should have been done. But I hope also the enthusiasm was infectious. This is really, I hate to say it, a game changer. Pun I intended now because I've said it so many times. But yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Alex.